This is KARE 11, your #1 news and information station.
KARE 11 News with Paul Major, Diana Pierce, Jeff Passolt, sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
It's strictly business, dollars and cents.
The owner of a new adult bookstore looks at the bottom line, but his angry Minneapolis neighbors are looking for an excuse to shut him down. Good evening, everybody. Paul and Diana have the night off. On Wednesday night, patrons of McCready's Bar were toasting St. Patty's Day. Then, overnight, the Minneapolis landmark went from pub to porno store. Beer was out and an adult bookstore was in. Our other top stories include an expected liberal tilt for the Supreme Court after a justice announces his retirement. The prosecution plays wiretap jail conversations of accused murderer Robert Guevara. And there is good news for those suffering with the pain of multiple sclerosis. But our top story is the sudden appearance of an adult bookstore just a block from powerful people who are swearing to shut it down. Dave Wildermuth joins us live with details. Dave?
Well, Joan, if you ever had to pay a parking ticket at the government center or city hall or go to a public hearing, you were about a block from where we're standing right now. What was standing here, as you said, up until Wednesday night, was a very popular pub. So you can imagine the shock that the Friday happy hour crowd when they got here and found this. McCready's liked to think of itself as a blue-collar bar with a white-collar crowd. A 91 fire burned them out, but couldn't close them down. They simply moved next door. And even when a new owner bought the building and bought out their lease this month, the pub's owners believed they'd be returning after renovations. St. Patty's night was their swan song.
We walked out of there that night with the understanding that we were coming back into that building.
Instead, within 24 hours, an adult bookstore was born. On the corner of 3rd and 3rd, a block from City Hall, pornography.
It's strictly business, dollars and cents.
Larry Holmberg owns and runs the store, his second. He's the same fellow who turned a pizza parlor into a porno shop, the one the city of Ramsey has fought and so far failed to close, even after an HIV-positive patron testified that he'd had sex inside. What did shut down was an adjacent daycare. In Minneapolis, there happens to be one on the same block, and the parents and operators are none too happy.
No, you're fighting kind of a cold-hearted kind of a person, I would say. But they usually know the loopholes and how to get around it, too.
Here's what she means from above now. The store sits in a zone that allows adult entertainment. There's a nearby preschool, but by law, it's far enough away. But the daycare is within 500 feet of the bookstore, too close under city laws. Now here's the loophole. The daycare is just 2 years old. The no porn zone only applies to businesses established before 1985.
This is an inappropriate use. It shouldn't be there, and we've got to get rid of it.
They're simply playing the game of politics right now, which is the games politicians are good at playing. And sooner or later, they will come to the reality that there is nothing they can do.
You get the feeling that Holmberg wouldn't mind going chin to chin with city officials, and they're probably going to give him the opportunity to do that in the next couple of days. Joan?
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. Abortion rights groups are thrilled tonight at the new Supreme Court Justice Byron White plans to retire. White is a conservative who has consistently voted against gay rights and abortion. White will step down after the summer session. He'll be remembered as a justice who began as a liberal during the Kennedy years and slowly became part of the conservative voting bloc.
I think he's going to be remembered as a competent, solid justice, one who made some contribution to the law, but I'd be surprised if he ends up on the list of great justices.
Byron White was better known as Whizzer in the 1930s when he became the nation's leading running back at the University of Colorado. He also played pro football with the Steelers and Lions and 1 year led the NFL in rushing. White was also a Rhodes Scholar, served with John F. Kennedy in the Pacific, and then ran Kennedy's campaign for president. President Clinton will be the first Democrat to appoint a Supreme Court justice since Lyndon Johnson. The name of New York Governor Mario Cuomo is already being tossed around. Wiretaps, alibis, and jail conversations were introduced today in the Robert Guevara murder trial. Prosecutors played wiretapped audio tapes of Guevara describing where he was in the hours after Corinne Erstead disappeared. The tapes are intended to show inconsistencies in Guevara's alibi. During one conversation, his aunt disputes Guevara's story that he drove to Wisconsin.
Where did you turn around? In Wisconsin. Oh, you did turn around.
Yeah.
You said you didn't turn there. You turned by that church.
Well, it's right by the border, though.
No, border is a long way from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You were still close to 5 to 7 miles from the border.
Guevara also told his aunt that after driving toward Wisconsin, he stopped by his trailer to get something to eat. Prosecutors claim he raped and killed Corinne in that trailer. Guevara's attorney noted that tapes in which Guevara proclaimed his innocence were not presented to the jury. The identity of a murder victim is a mystery tonight. A truck driver delivering a load to Axo Salt this morning discovered the body of a nude female lying by the railroad tracks. The medical examiner is doing an autopsy. Police are releasing no details in the case. Rush hour traffic came to a screeching stop on two of the Metro's busiest bottlenecks. A crash killed one motorist on Interstate 35W southbound near the 82nd Street exit. The accident happened shortly after 5:30 and backed up traffic for miles. And a truck rollover on the 394 West exit ramp shut things down on Interstate 94 shortly after 3 this afternoon. No one was seriously hurt, but eggs from the truck broke and oozed all over the freeway. Sanding trucks were called in to improve traction. A potential breakthrough tonight for thousands who suffer from multiple sclerosis. The disease usually strikes young adults, and Minnesota has one of the highest incident rates in the country. But as KARE 11's Melissa Young reports, a new drug could provide relief and hope.
Have I gotten 1,000 calls?
Every day, Luann Replogel talks to people who have multiple sclerosis. It's not just because she works at the MS Society. She can also relate to their fears.
As I was newly diagnosed, I can remember every morning what